Hi class, teacher Tammy here, and we are with our client, McKinley Orthopedic, and
Sports medicine.
thank you. We're with Dr. Tim. He is the owner and leading the planning, and so we're going to interview him.
Awesome. Nice to meet you guys.
So yeah, tell us your name and what you do here.
All right. So professionally, I'm Dr. Carey. That's how most people in the clinic talk to me. But when I'm outside of clinic and doing this, I like to go by Tim, or Tim is best, honestly. That's why I moved to Fairbanks, because we're a little bit less formal. I don't like going out to eat and people saying, Doctor this. I'm like, no, I'm off right now. So
Excellent.
Tim is perfect.
All right, we like that chill vibe and get to know you. So in one sentence, describe what happens here.
So our whole goal is to take care of any musculoskeletal injuries, and what that really means is anything that you hurt, bone, muscle, joint, ligament, tendon, we want to be able to take care of you if you need physical therapy, manipulation, surgery, injections, pretty much anything you need, from your little finger to your spine to your toe. We're trying to be all encompassing in doing that.
All right. Tim, tell us what makes McKinley stand out from its competitors. What makes you different and unique?
Yeah, so I mean, what makes us unique is really we have to compete for our customers, as opposed to the bigger entity that's our competition is Fairbanks Memorial, where everybody knows Fairbanks Memorial. They've been here forever. Their primary care doctors are there. They don't. That's just what most people know where to go. But here we try to have a better service that makes us unique. So when you come in here, you can get your physical therapy, your MRI, your surgery, your non-operative treatment, your primary care clearance, all in this one building, and you don't have to go through every other place. Even at Fairbanks Memorial, as big as it is, you still have to go downtown and then back to the Doolittle building and back to the other side of FMH. You're all over the place. So here we try to make it a one-stop shop, because when you're hurt, it's an inconvenience, right? Like, the majority of our paying patients, they have jobs. And when they break their ankle or they break their wrist, they don't have time to run to their primary care downtown and then go check in for their prehab at their physical therapy and then get their lab somewhere different. They're already stressed because they need to be at work today and they have a broken arm. So that's what we try to do to make it better.
Yeah, such a good point. And we learned that in the tour that I didn't even know. And it's something the students will want to focus on, is that this is the one place for it all. And it's clean, it's convenient, and it's the same staff working on you from beginning to end.
Yeah, everybody just gets to know you, so they know your problem. You're not dealing with someone different when you come in. And probably most recently, one of our biggest suppliers of patients is the trampoline jump park. They're not sure they'll let us put ads out there, because then it admits that they have increased volume of injuries. And it's not the kids, it is the dads.
Oh my gosh.
Number one injury thing is the warp wall, by far. If you're 40, you should not be running up the warp wall. But we had a guy a month ago that came in and he tore his Achilles running up the warp wall after his 8-year-old. And we were able to get his clearance, his lab, his MRI, and his surgery all in 24 hours. So you can't do that anywhere else. Anywhere else, that would have taken you a week or two. So faster recovery, back to work, back to taking care of his kids, and that's what separates us.
Excellent. All right, let's move on to your social media. What platforms do you currently use, and are there any that you want to explore?
Yeah, so we're currently using Instagram and Facebook. We would like to look a little bit into the YouTube options and some of the educational videos. One of our hard parts with social media for us is that, as I told you before, we take care of a 2-day-old to a 102-year-old, right? And they all use different platforms. Mm-hmm. The other thing is, a lot of people there are some people that have long-term problems, but you don't think you're going to break your ankle until you break your ankle, right? And you're not like, oh my God, what if I break my ankle? Where do I go? So getting that in their mind, so it's memory, or that when I need to do a better job with linking things to our Google and stuff. So when people Google, like, oh my God, I broke my ankle, where do I go? That we come up with a positive thing, right? I think one of the things I'd really love is some patient experiences, encounters in our social media, because I can say whatever I want, right? But if they go on with a broken ankle and they see one of you or someone else who's had this great experience, then they're like, oh my God, like, that's where I'm going to go. And we have some of your athletes, one of your better hockey players, he has said we could use his name and stuff. So, he came in, shoulder dislocation, got him surgery, got him fixed, got him playing. We have the videos and stuff. I just got to get the information out there, because once people realize that, he's going to be a professional hockey player, and we were able to get him back on the ice so quick, then they're kind of like, wow, like the rest of Fairbanks can trust these guys too. And that's the information we need out to the public.
Excellent. I think the older market too, because I know that seniors are always talking to each other.
Yeah.
And so if you like somebody from one of the living communities around here, same thing. Again, not really knowing what social media they follow, but getting the word out, I think that's super smart.
Well, and most of the seniors rely on their kids, right? So if, if they're thinking about that, their kids are helping them and do it. So if it's their kid that, I said one of our competitions is Fairbanks Memorial, it is, but one of our bigger competitions is Seattle. Because there's a lot of people that don't trust Fairbanks, right? Like there's a lot of people that will shop local, but there's a lot of people that would rather buy on Amazon, and they would rather get their medicine in Seattle because they don't trust the people that are here. And I would tell you that far better here because I can't run anywhere, right? You can come and find me any day you want for a question, and we're kind of always open. And in Seattle, it's hard to get back to. In those big places, it's hard to do. So that's one of the things we're trying to convince people that it is a safe, clean, efficient environment that you can get very modern stuff. It's not like some other things in Fairbanks. We're like, man, that's 20 years ago.
Yeah. All right, let's set a month as your time period. How many hours and how much money does McKinley have to devote to social media?
It's a 20-hour a week position that we've typically had. We could probably go either way depending on our ability to handle the patients. Sometimes we've had to slow down because if you have patients waiting and coming out the seams, like it's not something you can do. So we vary it based on that, but usually about 20 hours per day.
Per day?
No, per week. 20 hours
wow,
a week.
That's
so
great.
It's a half time. We've had it as a half position, but we could also go a little bit more. And I think the dollar amount is really variable because so for instance, we give, and this is Cassie here, by the way. Hi Cassie, sorry to interrupt.
Nice to meet you.
Hi, Cassie.
Oh.
I'm doing an interview. I didn't know. This is how it is. So we see our trainers and our stuff at different places. So the university, we give probably give 100, 150,000 a year to the university athletic programs by hiring trainers and giving supplies and staff. We just redid your training room, for years to come, and having physicians at the hockey games and in the locker rooms and stuff there's no charge when we're over there doing that stuff. And we see that as a marketing expense that goes in our marketing budget, which is, we're up over $500,000 just in doing that by having the trainers at all the high schools and all the stuff, because our theory is that if you're taking care of their kids and you do an awesome job, the parents will come in, right? And that is just a way of outreach and getting people in, and we enjoy it, and Dr. Malcolm enjoys it, and we enjoy being on the field and taking care of those patients. So anyway, that was a really long
That's
answer
okay.
for nothing, but I think that the budget is very hard to nail down, but at least 500.
How will you know that your social media is a success? How do you measure that?
We ask patients from time to time, like, how did you hear about us, on our intake forms and different things, and we hear it's from the radio or from a friend. Most of the time it's from a friend, or we saw you on the field or so on. So, but the majority is friends, but we do hear that, we saw some of your posts on there. I think the posts I think they hear about it from a friend, and then the posts and the stuff that we have give them reassurance, like, oh my God, they are real. It is. It does look a modern thing. If you don't have a good website and you don't have a good social media background, then you can't do surgery, which is the farthest thing from the truth, but that's how people see it.
Well, I'm glad that you realize that and reflect upon that. So you've mentioned radio. So besides social properties, how else do you get the word out?
So, radio, newspaper, and pretty much that's it.
Okay. And that print, newspaper, and digital, both?
Yes.
Okay. And do you have, I don't know if this works for patients, so do you have an email, like e-news that you can send out? Like, we're going to send out an email blast to all of our patients.
Yes, so we have been working on that. It hasn't really happened. Collecting the data has been the hardest part of that.
Yeah.
So, and then some of we had a big one getting ready to go out, and then there was a little bit of concern of if we could legally do it or not.
Yeah, I don't know about that. So
we have a new check on our thing that when you give us our email, we are allowed to use it, which we
Okay.
didn't have before. So we didn't want people coming. There are some in Fairbanks especially, some people that get very uptight about giving information, and if you send an email to the wrong person, it can really create, if it wasn't for marketing or information purposes and
Yeah.
only for medical or bills. So we've been cautious, but now we have a new list that we're going to try to work on
Excellent.
email stuff of new and upcoming things and educational
Right.
materials, right? It's another thing that we want to do. I think that's the YouTube part, is like educating people on, oh my God, look at this new total knee surgery, this new shoulder surgery that's being done. Maybe that's for me, and then they come in and talk to us.
All right, I like it. Describe a success you've had already with social media.
A success we've had with social media.
Is there something that went viral, or something people talked a lot about, or something you liked?
Yeah, I don't think we've had anything really viral, but 2 years ago we won like through the chamber, got the Business of the Year award, and they did a video with some stuff on that kind of kicked off our Facebook and social media stuff, and that's one of the hardest parts. Is that was really good and created a lot of influx, right? Because we got the Business of the Year award, and then now getting Physician of the Year award through different things. All those little things matter to some of these, especially the senior people in Fairbanks who've been here forever, and those things are a big deal. So I think the hardest part with that is keeping it up. Like we'll have someone that for a month, like we got it post after post after post. We're good. We're on this trend, and then it just kind of dwindles out. So for us, it's consistency. We'll keep that going.
For sure. What are your social media challenges?
The challenges are keeping them consistent. Is you need every week information coming out, and we have so many different providers here, from a spine surgeon to a podiatrist to the OMT to the physical therapy to the trainers, right? And there's no reason that I can't have. I would love to have personal interviews with each of them. So they're doing that. Most people are like, oh my God, I didn't realize you worked at McKinley.
Sure.
I didn't know that they had this. Like you've been here and you didn't know we had this stuff. And I think that's our failure of our marketing, is that we have patients in here that are going other places because they don't know we offer that, even though they love the service they get already.
So it sounds like a lot of awareness on the students' plate and a lot of education.
That's usually how you win in medicine, is education and awareness.
All right. So what do you hope to gain from the students regarding this plan? They have a semester and you want to make sure this happens.
It's like we talked about before. It is awareness, like letting the community know. One of the biggest things that I put on the application was that we're giving the university $100,000 to $150,000 a year in just support, and I don't think anybody knows. We at the hockey banquet we get recognized and we give a little speech and we do some stuff because that's the main group that we support. But there's a lot of other people who are like, oh yeah, we take care of all your stuff, and even the coaches are like, oh, we didn't know. And like, how do you not know? So that is what we want to do. Like we've had ideas like for the football thing, starting a banner. My idea was starting something on social media where they follow their stats, right? We take care of every football player. Why can't we have a little competition for rushing yards or passing yards or something that all of these students and their parents are kind of watching, right? To keep them engaged in our stuff and funnel them to like, oh, we know what McKinley Orthopedics is. We know that they do this. For the older people, the students will know, but you will know this. The prior person, Keller in sports medicine at Fairbanks, he was very, very good at marketing. Everybody knew that he took care of the high schools and he took care of the university. And it's been a good transition. He's helped us with a lot of stuff as he kind of retired and pushed us into that role.
Why do you think so? Because that was also a time that before social was so prominent. Just longevity, or?
Yeah, just longevity and presence and educate. Like we start by educating the school nurses and educating the coaches and educating all this stuff. But it's just when someone learns something from you, they remember it. I think is the biggest thing. And if we can get our social media to do that, not just be that one catch, but remember. And what are we branding? We've had a hard time with our logos. I'd love some ideas on what catches stuff. In the social media world, what do they recognize and what do they then associate with us? One of our problems is we've made these beautiful signs and spent these monies to put banners on the football fields and they hung them up. But on the other side, you can't tell what the logo is because it's so far away. So we may have to monitor our.
It's a good logo for a T-shirt, for
It is.
sure.
It
But
is.
is it a good logo
For
for?
across the field, and does that matter on social media where they're and then we're trying things with QR codes and questions. We found that online patients are more willing to type a question out and get a typed response than they are to pick up a phone and call.
Yeah.
We found that with social media, anybody can be more aggressive on Facebook.
Do you have
and
the
Instagram.
chat function?
It goes to an email,
Okay.
and then they get an email or
All
a
right.
call back. So it just says, ask us a question.
Okay.
And people are way more open. Like, it'll be midnight. My knee hurts. This is really killing me. Or they couldn't pick up the phone and they may not do it the next day.
Okay.
So we'd love to kind of promote that through the social media, like, having posts come up that say, are you having knee pain or your shoulder? We have this new thing. Click on this QR code, ask us your question. Get their information so that we can get those newsletters out or those different things about the new and upcoming things. So I think that would be that's one of the visions that, that I see.
Sure. This is not on script, but we just had a meeting, back to school meeting, and UAF is now NIL, so the athletes can do name, image, and likeness. So maybe that's something that we can start considering for you, is getting your name out there, and they're wearing the gear, and they're sponsored by.
Yeah, and that's the hard part, and it's just figuring out how to do that. The university and local doesn't have sometimes the biggest followings to do that. It's not like where I came from, working at training in Georgia.
Yeah,
There's
sure.
other different things. So finding how that works out is going to be an interesting thing as they go that way. And I think the whole world in NCAA stuff is trying to figure that out.
All right. Anything else that you want to make sure the students know?
No, I think our main goal is letting the community know that we're up to date and modern, more modern than most people, and that you can get as good a care as, if not better care, than you can anywhere else in the lower 48. And I tell my patients, it's not always, you have to do enough of something and be committed to it like a family to do it the right way, but you don't have to do a ton of them, right? And I use the analogy of, like, not to say that we're this, but Honda doesn't make a better car than Ferrari. They make a ton more, but that doesn't mean it's a better service and a better vehicle, right? So we can make a modern, fast, up-to-date
Ferrari
car, and but you get that individual attention that is what I think what people want, right? Medicine doesn't have to be. I'm here because medicine doesn't have to be streamlined. Do I have time for another story?
Yeah.
So I interviewed before I came here at a place in Virginia. They had 70 surgeons on staff, and they asked me to do left shoulders. And I just looked at them like with three heads, and they're like, well, we have PAs that are going to funnel all the left shoulder pain to you. And then we found that if we don't switch from left to right, and we're only doing left, we can do 2 more patients a day because it saves us 20 minutes in the thing. So you're going to just show up, see all these left shoulders, you're going to schedule them for surgery, and you're just going to do left shoulder surgery all day. And I'm like, I'm good. I'm going to go. And that's what doing 20 left shoulders in a day doesn't make you better than doing a left and a right and making it a personal, a personalized thing, because everybody doesn't need the same left shoulder surgery.
I like that theme of personalization, because it's definitely key in what people want. And so let's find some ways to communicate that through social media.
Yeah. And our clinic, the other thing is we're more than surgeons, right? That's the other big thing. Like, our other competitor is, Dr. Wade in the surgery center, that they only have surgeons. And when you come here, we have other tools in our toolbox with, 3 osteopaths that are doing manipulation, OMT, and non-operative. We have a pain doc that's doing stuff. So, like, your only option isn't surgery. So if you don't need a surgery, I have other options that still keep you in the business. And I don't need to be pushed to say, oh, you need a surgery when you may not, not that happens, but when you only have one tool, that's the tool you use. And luckily I have a lot of different tools.
Yeah. Well, thank you for your time today. We're excited to work with McKinley Orthopedics and Sports Medicine.
So are we. We're excited to have
thank
you guys.
you.
Thank you.